Hello, my name is Sang, and welcome to this demo. This is a supplement video on the question of how to paint worn metal armor without making it look like a soft material. The easiest way, or quickest way to answer this question would be to try out some hard-edged brushes. Right here, you'll notice I'm using this triangular shaped brush, and this brush just happens to be one of my favorites. I'll usually use this brush at the beginning of my paintings, and it's just a really good brush for blocking out shapes and patterns. Um, Happens to be really quick because it has low texture density. Um, Here I'm blocking out the major forms of the armor, trying to keep it fairly loose and not thinking about the details too much. Using textured brushes is more of a personal preference, but I think it'll help to describe metal that's worn or beaten up. And here looks like I'm just shading the armor, trying to give it the illusion of roundness. I'm painting in some specular highlights here for the first time. Specularity is really important when you're trying to describe different kinds of materials. And at this point in the painting, I felt the need to show that this was a piece of metal. Adding some specular highlights and really trying to describe the cylindrical shape of that shoulder piece. Putting in some bounce light under that rim. Slowly adding some more detail here and trying to describe the chest plate a little bit more. You'll notice that I'm just color picking from the shoulder plate because that's already rendered to a certain degree. Also notice how roughly I'm applying these brush strokes. I think in the end it'll help to show all the imperfections and kind of like indicate little dents and little nicks in the armor. So here I'm starting to render out the neck area a little bit more, and I'm constantly jumping around different areas of the painting because you want to keep the entire painting balanced, whether you're talking about composition, lighting, levels of detail. All of these things need to be balanced. So it's definitely a good habit to get into. Another good habit to get into, and I'm pretty sure you've heard this many times before, but should be flipping the canvas horizontally and just checking to see everything's correct. I know it's scary to do, and it definitely was for me at first, but after a while you get used to it. Okay, so let's see. I think at this point of the painting, the middle area was looking a bit off to me, so I drew the guideline on a separate layer just to check the perspective. I'm working to define the edge of that elbow a little bit better, and adding some darker darks into the occluded areas. Adding some more specularity. Something was bothering me about the neck area, and I think I returned to it quite a few times trying to figure out what it was. Thinking about design a little bit here, breaking the shoulder pad into 3 parts, kind of repeating what's going on in the chest area. Now, that cast shadow that I just painted on the forearm, I remember that it actually caught me by surprise because I didn't notice it earlier. I mean, looking at it now, it seems obvious like it should be there, but for some reason I didn't see it. I suppose that's why you should not only be flipping your canvas, but maybe even take a break and return to your painting with a fresh eye. Now, right here I changed the shape of the top of the armor. I felt previously the line was very straight and diagonal, and I think this new arc or arcing curve is a much more interesting and pleasing shape. Now, if you look at the layer mode, it's currently set to color dodge, and sometimes I'll do this. It's a really quick way to get specularity in your metal, but the negative thing about it is it tends to blow out the values and oversaturate your colors, so you gotta be careful when doing that. Now here I'm darkening the overall color and value of the armor. I guess I felt the lighter color didn't feel appropriate since it's supposed to be, the metal's supposed to be worn like she was in battle, and the darker, grittier look feels more appropriate. I'm trying to figure out whether the edge of that arm should be dark or light. I don't know, what do you think? Dark because it's in shadow, or lighter because there's a reflected light source? I suppose it could be either way, or go either way depending on what you want to accomplish. I think some of the shading got lost along the way, and I'm trying to lighten up the top of the chest armor a bit. And kind of scratching at it again to create that roughness. And pretty much just adding a few details here and there. Looks like I darkened the elbow a little bit. Darkening the inside right there to give it more of a cylindrical feel. And at this point, I think I'm just working on some details, kind of defining some of those dents, adding some imperfection on the edges. Think about the way objects are in the real world. Say like you're moving a piece of furniture or something, and you'll probably notice the edges and corners get the most damage. So apply this kind of knowledge to your paintings. And in the end, it should add to the believability of your work. Adding some more scratches and dents here and there. I felt it was weird just having one big cut on the shoulder armor, so tried to balance that detail out by putting it in the neck area. Adding details such as these little dents may seem complicated, but you should always try to break things down to the simplest forms and simplest ideas. I mean, it's just a bunch of inverted domes put together. So if you're able to render one, you should be able to render a bunch of them. I believe we are getting close to the end of this demo, so thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something out of it.